Hey homies, welcome back. Today I have some new dies to share with you. Look how they come packaged. It's a little foxy fox. Ah. So I've got a few dies from them, a couple of backgrounds, a thinking of you, and this makes a box of tulips that I cannot wait to play with. But today we're going to use this one. Now this actually cuts out, you've got the frame, you've got each piece, and then there's a frame around each piece. So you have a lot of different options for this. But today I'm going to cut it out of some white glitter cardstock, and I'm going to keep all the pieces in there. So it's going to be a simple but very pretty background. And then we're going to do a flower using a Brutus Monroe stamp and stencil and die set. So let's get started. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to cut this out of some white glitter cardstock, and I will be right back. So here we are. I actually cut two. I had a couple of scraps of white glitter, so they're not the same paper, kind of different shades, but that's okay. We're going to flip these over, and just to make sure nothing falls out, I'm going to put some mint tape on the back. I've got this lovely stamp set from Brutus Monroe. You get this big rose, celebrate and thank you, and then there was a die set that matched it. So I'm going to use the die, and we're going to cut this out. Okay, so here's my two die cut backgrounds. On this one, I cut right out of the center, and then on this one, I did it from the edge. Let's see, which way did this go? Yeah. So when I put the card together, the floral is gonna be off the edge. Okay, to stamp this, I'm gonna use Brutus Monroe Raven Detail ink. I love this ink, and as you can see, I've been playing with this stamp, so it's already in my stamp positioner. So I'm just gonna slap some paper in there, and this is some kind of thin white cardstock. I had bought it for alcohol markers and I didn't like it, and then I saw some people recommending the hammer mill, so that's what I've been using for alcohol markers. So this, I just use it up for stamping and stuff. Okay, ready to do some stenciling? Now there's 3 stencils in this set. You've got your big flower pieces and then 2 different leaf pieces. And there's actually etching, which helps you in the placement. Just make sure the etching is on top of the stencil, not underneath it, and it'll line up just fine for you. And Chris Fallon likes to say they snap into place, and I think I agree with that. So you just line it up. And again, you've got that etching for the rest of the image that really helps as far as making sure you get it lined up and stuff. They're definitely well thought out. So we're going to start with the roses. Now mine are going to be pink. So I've got picked raspberry and festive berries for a little darker color. And I'm going to start with my picked raspberry. And then I'm going to go in with some festive berries just to kind of add some dark spots. I'm just going to go along the edges a little bit. Then you just peel that off, and look how pretty. I mean, come on. So now we're going to move on to leaves. So I've got Tropical Tango and Fake Plant Simon Hurley inks. I'm a Simon Hurley ink loving girl. Okay, so we'll pick one of our leaves here. Listen to myself and make sure my etching is on the top. Tape it down, homie. Oh yes. Okay, so let's start with some Fake Plant. You know, I resisted the coloring stencils for a long time. I've realized, you know, I really do not enjoy the alcohol markers. I just don't. I like watercolor. I like, oh, Sam. I like watercolor markers, but I don't enjoy I even like pastels, but I do not enjoy the alcohol markers. And I tried to. I really did. It was the thing, you know, but it is not my thing. I realize that. So I've got a set I'm going to sell because I don't want them. I don't need them. And you know, I have a smallish craft room / office. So I like for the things that I have in here to be things I'm going to use. Now we're going to go in with some Tropical Tango. I love this color. It's probably one of my favorite colors in all the land. It's kind of similar to Tim Holtz's Mermaid Lagoon, but it's got a little bit of a different tone to it. I like anything that's kind of aqua-ish, I've realized. Like we have this big wall in our house. We have a small little 1980s Florida bungalow style house. And we only have one large wall. And I painted that wall turquoise aqua. It's lovely. And even when I went to get the paint, the old man at Lowe's was like, man, this is a nice color. Can't wait to see it when you're done. So when I went in to get more paint for something else, I showed him pictures and he was like, oh, that was such a good choice. It made me feel good. Okay, look at how cute that is. It's so pretty. Now I'm going to die cut this and come back and we will start assembling a card. I think I'm going to want to offset this, so I'm going to cut this again out of some gold. I'll be right back. All right, so here we have that out of gold too. So what I'll do is just do a little offset. Look at that. Won't that be pretty? Now, one thing that would be really neat to do, and I just now thought of this, would be if you're going to do an offset on your rose, whatever color you decide to do, cut this again out of that color so you could have some in the background. Like even just the little frames. So say I cut this again in gold and just use the little frames in gold. That would be really pretty. I'm not sure why, but it's a little bit of an odd size, right? It's goes edge to edge lengthwise, but not widthwise. So I'm just going to center it that way. So you have a little bit of the plain white border along the sides there. And you know, bear glue to the rescue. It's my favorite. And then we'll take the gold and we're going to inlay it right inside there. It'll just fit in there all snug. And then this will go on just slightly offset, so it'll have a little gold shadow. Now this set came with 2 sentiments, celebrate and thank you. And we're going to use celebrate. And we're again going to use that Raven ink from Brutus Monroe. That's pretty awesome. Voila. And I'm going to go die cut this, and I'm going to die cut it a couple extra times because this is really thin paper, and I want the sentiment to be nice and, you know, robust. Okay, I've got my little pieces here. We're going to do some die stacking. Haven't done that in a hot minute. Stack them up. I've got 3, and then the stamped image, because like I said, this is really thin paper, so I wanted it to chunk up a little bit. There we go. We have celebrate. I'm going to put it right about here. And I'm not going to pop it since I thickened it up. I'm just going to glue it flat. Maybe have it go off that edge a little. Yeah. I love this font. I think it's so cute. Now, because this is a glittery card, we're going to add a little bit of bling. Because it's a celebration. I've got just a sequin mix here. These are like leftovers from other projects and stuff, and I just mixed them all together. It's kind of a party mix. I'll do a few on this side, on there. And then you know how I feel, no naked insides. I'm going to cut a gold strip to put on the inside. I always like to bring some of the outside of the card to the inside of the card. Now for our inlay card, I'm actually going to cover this card base with pink and then add this over top. I think it'll look really nice with our pink colored roses. All right, so we've got our beautiful die cut rose, our die cut background, our pink card. We're just going to put this right in here when I figure out the right way. Look how pretty. I'm going to tape this together on the back so that I can decide how I want my placement. And actually, that looks about how I want it, I think. But I'm going to play it safe. I'll turn this over. I'll just tape it right there, just to make sure it stays put. So it's inlaid into that background, right? Isn't that pretty? And I think I want it to hang off a little bit. Yep, right about like that. So let's flip this over, give it the old bare glue treatment. I think this is a neat look. It's a little different. How pretty that is. And then I think for our sentiment, we're just going to use Celebrate again because that was easy and it's already out and it's already inked up. But I'm going to stamp it instead of on white on this pink. So we'll stamp, die cut. I'm going to die cut a couple extra again because, again, this is not very heavy paper. And I want it to be nice and chunky. I shall return. All right, let's get this sentiment put together. Cute little pink Celebrate. Now I wanted to pop this up on foam, so I cut it out of some white fun foam. And I think we're going to put it right about here. And this is that fun foam that's sticky on one side, so I'm going to go ahead and stick it down. Hopefully that's relatively straight. And then just add some bare glue and we'll put our pink paper Celebrate right on top of it. Most of the time your metal dies can cut the fun foam because it's not very thick. I just always run it through twice. You know, run it through and then back it back through just to be on the safe side. And it's always cut for me. Now I'm going to add some bling to this because that's how I roll. Let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One there. And, you know, I'm an over blinger, so prepare yourself. Okay, over sequiners unite. And then the last thing is to put my little strip of pink paper inside. Because, you know, no naked insides. Tell you what, I need a proud over sequiner badge. All right, here's my finished cards. We use this really cool background die set. You know, the reason I accepted their offer to take some dies to do some videos was because I feel like a few good background dies in your stash makes your life happy, makes things easy. And I think this is a really cool one. You know, and if you ever need a small circle, you've got a small circle. Super simple. I left all the pieces intact and basically just inlaid my roses. I made a few more cards using this and I will put pictures in at the end. I hope you like these. Hope you like my over sequining. I know, oh, look at that. I got white paint on my hand from an earlier today project. Sequins aren't everybody's cup of tea, but I love them. Y'all have a lovely day. Remember, be excellent to each other and go make something. Bye-bye.